Hi, my name's John. Whenever I go on a cruise, I usually end up talking at dinner with other cruisers about their experiences on different cruise lines. I'm curious to know how they compare. I'm on the Norwegian Gem right now. We're sailing from Boston to Quebec City. There's been a hurricane sweeping up the coast of the Atlantic, but we've been able to skirt around it and have actually had a fairly smooth trip. My previous cruising experience has been with the Holland America line. I've traveled on the Zuiderdam ship twice and the Rotterdam. So those are the ships that I'll compare with the Norwegian Gem. I actually took this trip partly to see what other cruise lines would offer, although I've been always very happy with what I've had on Holland America. And the bottom line is they're pretty much equivalent. But let me go through different areas one by one and compare them for you. First of all, the Norwegian Gem is a little bigger than the Holland America ships that I've been on. The Rotterdam or the Zuiderdam, one thing I do notice is that there seems to be a lot more outdoor space on this Norwegian Gem than on the Holland America ships. There are two paths around the outside of the ship that you can walk on deck 7 and deck 13, and there are lots of outdoor areas to sit comfortably. The outdoor walking paths are also a little bit wider and seem a little bit more open. I think that's partly because there aren't rooms that open out onto that deck. The pool is also completely outdoors on the Norwegian Gem. Now this means that it can't be covered as the Holland America ship pools are, and on days where the weather isn't good, it's really not being used at all. There's a water slide, however, and there's a rock climbing area, and there's a fairly large tennis court / basketball court on this ship. The outdoor areas on Holland America tend to be a little bit smaller. There also seems to be a lot more ongoing activity in the common areas. Now this is good if you really want to be stimulated, but it's also a little bit grating sometimes because there's always noise, sometimes fairly loud music, and games and dance lessons and trivia quizzes and everything going on in the common areas. I like to be quiet sometimes, and sometimes I just want some quiet area that I can read or listen to something on my own device. And I found it a little harder to find those areas on the Norwegian Gem. I did find that being at the back of the ship on deck 13 or even above on deck 14, there are some areas there that are quiet, but they tend to be outdoors, so on a cooler day you might have to bundle up in order to sit out. And this is on the floor up from the 13th floor. You have to walk up a little flight of stairs, and it's a really nice quiet area. The other area tends to have a lot of loud music, a lot of activity. This area is quieter, great place to sit and just soak up the sun and read a book. As far as entertainment's concerned, I really have liked the stage shows that are on Norwegian. The singers and dancers that are part of the entertainment company are really talented, and the production value of the evening shows I think are better than those on Holland America. Having said that, I like the lounge type entertainment on the Holland America ships a little bit better. For example, in the Zuiderdam, they have something called Billboard on Board. Two guys playing the piano, taking requests, just sit around, sing along with them, and they're very talented, and it's a fun evening entertainment. And they have a dance area with a jazz band called BB King's.
Crazy love, through these crazy times, it's you make me sing through every line, through every word, you're everything, you're every song, and I sing along, 'cause you're my everything.
In general, the late night activity does tend to be a lot more lively on the Norwegian Gem. The room sizes are comparable and the amenities in the room are pretty much the same. I really didn't find much difference. So I get an inside room because traveling alone you pay twice the cost of the room, and I don't find it really makes that much difference whether I have a small window or whether I'm in the inside room, because you spend a lot of your time out on the deck anyway or up in the lounge areas. The room has a queen-size bed, television in the corner, telephone. It has a very small table and television and a small desk. It's got a small fridge, closet space, safe, and this is the bathroom. So there's a shower over in the corner, and so that's it. The hallways in the Norwegian Gem tend to be a little claustrophobic. There are places where the outside rooms jut out a little bit into the hall, which gives you narrowing, and there tends often to be cleaning carts in the hallway. So this makes the hall seem narrower, smaller, and a little bit more confined. On the good side, on the carpet in the hall, there are little fish that are swimming towards the front of the ship. So if you want to know which way you're traveling in the hallway, you just have to look down at the carpet. And that's really handy because the halls all look the same on these ships. And you can't tell whether you're heading to the front or to the back without some sort of indicator like these little fish on the carpet. On the good side for Holland America, they have a carpet on the floor in their elevators which tell you what day of the week it is, because that becomes sometimes a problem to know when you're on a cruise for a few days as well. Getting on and off with both cruise lines was really pretty easy. Perhaps a little less lining up for the Norwegian cruise, but that might be a function of the port rather than of the cruise line itself. As far as food is concerned, I think that the Norwegian line food is a little step down from what I get in Holland America. And that would include both the buffet and the dining room. So I'd have to say that I'd give Holland America a better grade for food. I also found it a little bit harder to get a buffet table on the Norwegian cruise ship, particularly at busier times. I could take my food out to one of the outdoor areas, and that turned out to be okay when the weather was good, but I just had a little more trouble finding a place to sit when I ate in the buffet. I like that there's no formal dining evening at the dining rooms on the Norwegian Gem. You can dress up if you want, but there's no need to. Drinks are a little more expensive on the Norwegian Gem, and they don't allow you to bring any liquids on, and they don't allow you to bring a bottle of wine on the ship like they do on Holland America. I bought a bottle of $15 wine when I was in Portland and brought it on board. I paid the $15 corkage fee, so that means that I'm getting about 5 glasses of wine out of that bottle for $6 a glass. On board, if I was buying it by the glass, I'd pay about $10 plus a 20% service fee, so it would be almost twice as much to buy the wine by the glass on board than to bring on my own wine. So that's a tip that I think is well worth trying, and it's worked really easily. I can take the wine to the dining room if I want. In general, the two lines really compare pretty equally in my experience. There are pros and cons to either one. The Holland America ship is a little bit smaller, and there's an advantage to that there are fewer people, but then it doesn't seem to have quite the same amount of space. The demographic on Holland America is a little older. It may well be that on this Norwegian gem ship when they have cruised to Bermuda, that the demographic is a lot younger and that it's a lot more crowded and more lively. But this ship at this time has been really quite comfortable, and I think pretty much the same as what I get on Holland America at a little bit cheaper price. Both cruise lines have the usual options to encourage you to drop a little bit more money, like at the casino or the shopping area or the spa or the art auction, or even buying excursions for your trip. But I tend not to do any of those things. I book my cruise excursions, if I want to, online after doing some research before I take the trip, and I've never found that that's been a problem. Or sometimes you can do a little research, and when you get off the ship you can find something that you want to do locally, even if that involves just walking around the port. Our cruise ship's docked in Invergordon today, and a lot of people on the boat are going on a excursion to Inverness or some of the battle sites around, but I've already been there in the past, so I'm just going for a walk. So our ship is docked in La Bay, which is just down the way here, and it was really busy getting off the ship. But within half an hour, here I am on this pretty much deserted beach. I hope you found this information useful when you're exploring vacations on these two great cruise lines. Have a wonderful trip.